So the Scottish Government's Low Carbon Infrastructure Transition Fund has funded a lot of really good projects. It's funded district heating schemes that have gone into housing estates and so on. But they're still happening in just certain places. And if you think about, we need to completely end Scotland's contribution to climate change between now and 2045. That only gives us something around 20 years, which might sound like a long time, but in that space of time, nearly every single one of us here in Scotland will need to see the way we heat our home change. So we'll need to see gas boilers replaced with heat pumps, with district heating schemes, all those sorts of things. So that really means thousands of changes to people's homes every single year. So the scale of what's still to come is really much larger than the individual housing schemes and so on that are being funded just now. Now, obviously, there'll be really good learning that happened from these individual schemes that are taking place under this funding, but we'll need to see that applied much more broadly across Scotland. We'll need to see more money come in, greater investment, and we'll need to see also government policy, government regulation also helping to drive these kinds of changes we need to see. So the Scottish Government set out in the programme for government, so basically their plan for this year, that tackling the climate emergency would be one of the major jobs of Scottish Government for the year to come. So that's really welcome. There was a number of things in there, particularly around transport and changing how we move around Scotland, and a number of smaller announcements about changing the way that we heat our homes and heat our buildings. I think there's several steps that are needed to be taken. One of them is continued government funding. Another important announcement that the Scottish Government made was changes to building standards. So when you build a new building, you have to follow certain rules for certain standards. But at the moment, those standards don't require you to build it in a way that's compatible with our future climate change targets, our climate change responsibilities. So it's really important that changes really quickly. We're still building buildings that we'll have to go back and change if we're to tackle the climate emergency, which is bonkers, frankly. And then lastly, the other thing where we need to see a lot more investment, and the Scottish Government have said they'll look at this during the course of the year, but they need to be really strong in this area, is the energy efficiency of our homes and buildings. There's lots of homes and buildings that are simply leaky. We're spending money, we're burning carbon, and it's escaping out of our buildings, and that's something that's really got to change.